Calgary Wild. Halifax has shown flashes of brilliance this season, led by fullback Julian Valeron. She's tied for third in the league in goals and scored a beauty against Calgary the last time these teams met. As for the Wild, they've been hit hard by injuries, and they're hoping the recent international break provided a necessary reset as they search for their first win of the season. Well, come on in and join us. We don't have fancy hats, but we're here to have a good time. Kate McKenna and Amy Walsh with you. This is the NSL on TSN, brought to you by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. So happy to be back with you, Amy. You've been covering the Men's World Cup so phenomenally.
Thank you.
And it's a nice reset after the international break. Speaking of that international break, I don't think any team needed it more than the Calgary Wild. As I mentioned, so many injuries. They are looking for their first win. And when we spoke to head coach Sinead McSherry yesterday, she said the loss that stung the most was their 4-0 loss against Halifax. They got thumped. In what areas do they need to clean up?
I think all areas, to be quite honest, and I think Sinead McSherry would echo those thoughts, and they're all back-to-back 4-0 losses, so there's a lot to be done, but as you said, this international break comes at a great time, allows them to get back to the drawing board, clean slate, but this is the last time these two teams met, and it was Sarah LaMiller and Julianne Valeron, braces on the day for them both, and just kind of trade, equal threat from both sides from that right flank with Valeron, and this is a worldie. Like, this will be a contender. We're only a quarter of the way through this sophomore NSL season. That will be a contender for goal of the year. Like, that was an absolute screamer, and McSherry said that epitomized their woes on the day.
Here's the starting 11 for the Calgary Wild, brought to you by DoorDash. They're starting to crawl out of that injury hole. We're seeing that today at the back. Veteran Michaela Moore gets her first start of the season. In the midfield, Maya Jones gets her second start. And of note, the captain, Maggie Doherty-Howard, not in the starting 11 as she recovers from a thumb injury, but is available off the bench. Let's go pitch side now. Brianne Foley is standing by with Maya Jones.
Maya, having this international break at this time, how much did that give you guys a reset to go into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it was honestly really necessary for us. We didn't really take that many days off. We were training for the most part, and I think it was really nice just to reset, have some time to kind of look over what has worked in the past, what hasn't, and just trying to move forward from the beginning of the season.
Fellow Calgarian Grace Doherty said that you guys are the underdog. How do you bring that energy today into this match?
Yeah, I think we just got to stick to our game plan. I think we're all really on the same page and we know what we need to do and what to do to get a result out of today. So we're just trying to collectively focus on that overall.
Good luck today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pivoting to Halifax, they've looked strong this season, Amy. So many new faces on this team, including Riley Foster-Inman, but she struggled in their last match.
She did, and her quality has been outstanding in between the sticks. We know that Toth has a little bit of an injury, but this has to be better here. Coach Stephen Hart talked about executing on both ends of the pitch, being more efficient, and it starts with Foster-Inman and her communication with her center backs. And again here, stays on her line, allows the other two players to go in to that confrontation, and then isn't able to pick up the pieces. And then there's rumors of Adam X Cleat getting in there, but it's no excuse. She has to handle that better, and they have to be more efficient on both ends of the pitch.
And someone who has been a bright spot, Julia Bonatti in the last match.
Julia, I didn't say her name right. We had Valeron last pack. This is Julia Bonatti. But this is a beaut. I mean, I think we can put it to the fans. Is it a Bonatti beaut or is it a Bonatti banger? But either way, this is a moment of brilliance, and this is the type of thing, again, we spoke to Hardy, and he was saying sometimes the performance didn't necessarily line up with the results, and moments like this helped them to get it over the line to get all 3 points.
Here's the starting 11 for the Tide, brought to you by DoorDash. In terms of things to look out for here at the back, Annika Leslie subs in for the injured Naya Cardoza. And in the midfield, Julia Bonatti, we just talked about her, gets her third start after scoring that banger of a goal, that beauty goal in their last match against Ottawa. Speaking of Julia Bonatti, she's with Brianne Foley.
You got your first goal as a Tide against your former club. How much confidence does that give you with this group?
Yeah, I feel like everything's been connecting with this group from the beginning. So it's been so fun, like, playing with this team. The team's amazing. We all work so hard for each other. So coming back from injury and getting that goal just brought a little extra confidence for sure.
Stephen Hart preached efficiency. How do you bring efficiency to the game today as we take that long international break?
Yeah, so we've been working on a plan, and our team's always pretty good at executing the plan. So we want to be sharp in the attack, and if we can get to that goal in as minimal passes as possible, but picking the right decisions in front of the goal, then that's what we're trying to do.
Good luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
An overcast day at the Wanderers grounds feels like 7 degrees, but we know these Tide fans are a hardy bunch. They're consistent regardless of the weather. Let's go inside the Tide's locker room now, where head coach Stephen Hart is addressing his team.
Good. Remember, hey, move together, stay together, arrive together. Up and down, across, we move as a unit. Hey, make sure your first pass is a good one and take the game from there. Yeah? Yes. Third dog.
Here are the standings as we kick off Week 8. The Montreal Roses maintain that #1 spot, with the Ottawa Rapid just a point behind, and it continues to be a tight race after that. Just 2 points separate the Vancouver Rise in 3rd from the Halifax Tides in 5th. Well, we know Maritimers love to support their own, and today the Tide sold $14 tickets in honor of the man who wears number 14 for the Canadian men's national team, Jacob Schaffelberg. He's the first Nova Scotian to represent Canada at a men's World Cup.
Hi, I'm Diana Matheson, legend of the field and founder of the Northern Super League. Are you wondering where to watch Northern Super League matches live this season? Confused by TV networks, channels, streams, and schedules? You could visit NSL.ca and download the 2026 schedule to your smartphone, but who's got time for that? Not me. That's why we're introducing the 2026 Northern Super League game schedule hotline. Just dial 1-833-NSL Live and we'll tell you where to watch every match. It's simple, it's easy. It's like the opposite of AI. No, seriously, call it. They made me pre-record all the weekly messages, and we have like 80 matches.
Call the NSL schedule hotline now. 1-833-NSL Live. That's 1-833-NSL Live. It's free, it's real, and yes, you can leave us a message. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us your favorite team. Tell us why everyone should watch the Northern Super League. Call now, find out where and when to watch, and tune in.
This Northern Super League match is brought to you by DoorDash, proud founding partner of the NSL. And by Toyota, proud founding partner of the NSL.
Well, amid the backdrop of World Cup fever across Canada, the Northern Super League returns after its own international break. And Week 8 kicks off from the Nova Scotia capital of Halifax, where the Tides host the Calgary Wild in their second meeting of the season. Amy, 20 days ago, it was the Tide storming into McMahon Stadium with a 4-0 win, braces from Sarah LeMiller and Julianne Valeron. But it was a game that really stung the Wild, and they want to come back here strong in this one.
Yeah, from the Tide's perspective, they want to be able to replicate the way that they finished in that match. Coach Stephen Hart talked about their decisiveness on both ends of the pitch, being more efficient, but from the Wild's perspective, they were the home team. They need to get something going here post-international break. They want to be the protagonists early on.
Well, Tegan Stewart has been a bright spot, just 18 years of age, recently with the Canadian women's under-20 team, has some roots here in Nova Scotia, so in front of her family and friends from Truro, about an hour away from Halifax, the hub of Nova Scotia, she'll be feeling right at home. And Calgary will kick off in their primary purple, moving from left to right on your screen. That's the Tides in their teal, going from right to left on your screen. Addie Wickers recycling the ball back to Riley Foster-Inman, getting her 6th straight start of the season. Allen laying the pass in behind for Miller. Miller against Grace Doherty, the two former Memphis Tigers teammates. And a quick cross in. It's free to Jordan Rhodes, has a touch, and she's wide of the net. Michaela Moore handled that, put enough pressure on.
And did well to keep her feet. Maybe a more cynical player would have gone to ground there looking for the penalty call, but a lively start from the Tides, almost from word go here, but the flank play, the menace from the wide areas for the Tides has been key to them getting in those dangerous areas.
Valeron. Move back to Annika Leslie, making her second start of the season at that center back role. And skipping off the foot of Allen. Bit of a wet pitch here today. Some rain in the forecast, 10 degrees in Halifax.
And that's a tough ball from Wickers over to her left fullback and Cheyenne Allen. Can't be expected to deal with that, especially on a slick pitch.
Allen over top, nice touch there by Rhodes. To Valeron, who had a brace the last time these two teams met, May 24th. And just through the feet of Sid Kennedy.
But Valeron probing with that longer touch. She reads that the fullback's going to stay at home and is able to find the feet of Benatti and just misses connecting with Sid Kennedy on the layoff.
Kennedy slips it through. Maya Jones's first touch of the match, and Caitlin Talbert played across to Michaela Moore. Nice to see Michaela Moore, the New Zealand international, back in the lineup. Her first start of the season, been battling injuries on and off. On limited minutes.
Great composure on the ball there from Addie Wickers. Started every match so far for the Halifax Tides this season. We've seen a little bit of rotation between Leslie and Cardoza, who has a knock, unavailable today.
Early cross in, that's threaded nicely by Miller, and Rhodes will guide it out for the corner kick.
That earlier ball, whether it's from Allen or somebody else in the wide areas, is so far paying dividends for the Halifax Tides. Are able to surprise the Calgary Wild backline and get in behind.
Benatti on the ball. And Carly Shaw McLaren in the middle will have some words with the action inside the 18. Back to Benatti, driven in. Oh, and headed away. But a shot on goal just wide.
And didn't miss by much as a charging Rhodes, who almost connected with that ball that was whipped in from Benatti.
Jones corrals the ball. Always battling Maya Jones. Swing and a miss by Grace Doherty. And Savitsky threading that ball over top to Jorian Baucom, cutting to the inside, cutting to her left foot. The shot on goal, can't connect. And Addie Wickers slipping in the 18, going out for a wild throw-in, but a first look at Jorian Baucom and perhaps the threat that she provides up front.
And a livelier Calgary side here in the offensive third, and Baucom her eyes just lit up as she sees that ball and then went at a couple of defenders and didn't miss by much on that left foot.
Storty going through Tegan Stewart.
A good step by Leslie.
Cho So-yoon was looking for Jordan Rhodes, got tangled up in the feet of Tora Betteridge, who's one of the youth development permit players playing with the Calgary Wild this season. Canadian Youth International at U17. And brave to turn back with Jordan Rhodes oncoming. Stewart through to Collie Johnson. Johnson can be a threat, gets the cross and slips on it. It'll go out for a corner kick as she replaces the shin guards.
And we've seen an earlier ball be successful for the Halifax Tides going the other way, and you had Jorian Baucom, who was just lurking off the shoulder of Cheyenne Allen. But Johnson looking lively herself, looking dangerous, trying to create something in that left wing.
Maya Jones at the flag for the Wild. And you see the action in the box between Rhodes and Baucom, and again, Carly Shaw McLaren. Drives it in. Ball misses the mark, but cleared out. Betteridge deflects to the foot of Grace Storty. Storty gets the cross in. It goes across goal.
It's a darting near post run there by Jorian Baucom. And Grace Storty was the first to pounce on that loose ball, took a couple of touches, took herself to that byline, just beating Rhodes, whips that in. And it's Baucom just beating Leslie to that near post. Didn't miss by much, just connecting, and a couple of Calgary Wild players lurking at that back post.
Savitsky to Storty. Laying in for Stewart, that's a nice little turn. Savitsky couldn't get by Sinamu. And a little heavy touch by Miller. One back by Rhodes.
Cho has done so much to lend composure to this Halifax Tides team. It's throughout the roster. I think a lot braver on the ball, but just able to possess it with a lot more confidence than we saw them do last year. And a lot of it is through that midfield presence and the veteran leadership of Cho.
You see some of it there. Sonia over top. Kennedy got tangled up. Jones cutting inside to Baucom, tried to lay it off. And Miller drawing the foul on Baucom, who is trying to recover the ball for the Wild. Just inside 10 minutes of this scoreless match at the Wanderers grounds, we take a look at Coach Stephen Hart, who was not too pleased with their final game ahead of the international break. Thought they played really well, maybe deserved an effort, lost 2-1 to Ottawa at home. And then Sinead McSherry, who of course we know the interim head coach right now, saying the things that they can control are their culture and their mindset right now, even though things are not going their way. The injuries are starting to clear up for the Wild. We're going to see some more managed minutes, of course, as these players return to play, but we're seeing signs of it with Collie Johnson starting, with Maya Jones starting, with Michaela Moore starting.
I'm still missing a big piece in midfield, obviously, with Captain Maggie Doherty-Howard. I think instills some belief and confidence in the rest of the players out on the pitch, because just she's present on the bench. and is able to talk to them from there. But Ali Hess is still a huge piece for me, a big acquisition in the offseason, but this long-term injury was a niggle at first and then turned into a longer-term thing is a big presence missing in terms of what she offers as a person, but certainly her play. We saw last year what she did for the Roses in their midfield. She's a real engine in there. Calgary could use that type of player right about now. But McSherry had a kind of a tongue-in-cheek line on our coach's call saying, you know, in a country of wild roses, sometimes you have to return to the roots, and the best thing to grow roses is manure. So it's not been the best run of form for them, and that's what she was alluding to. But international break, this right side looks very bright for them, combining Baucom and Jones and the play of Tegan Stewart. So there's some positives to cling to, and hopefully they can build from there and get more than just the point that they've acquired through 5 games so far.
Two coaches with great turns of phrases, Stephen Hart and Sinead McSherry. Always a pleasure to be on the coaches' calls with both of them.
Keeps us on our toes.
It does, it does. Moo having to turn back under pressure from the Wild. Flicked on by Rhodes. Rhodes sticking with it. Kennedy shielding, getting the free kick.
Always leading by example in terms of the effort, the work rate, the blue collar attitude. The fans at Wanderers Ground love Sid Kennedy, and I know that she's beloved by her teammates as well, but her play always leads the way.
Cho So-hyun, the cross in, it was just past Wickers, who had a delayed run.
That ball, especially from a right-footed player, has to be exacting. It has to be so precise, very little margin of error to operate there.
Betteridge under pressure from Rhodes. The 17-year-old Michigan commit does well, gets a throw in for her team. Popped up over top, Baucom. Lands to Tegan Stewart, quickly playing out of feet to Johnson. And Valorand in pursuit. Savitsky. Ball crossed in. Allen backtracking. There's a shot on goal, wide from Stewart.
And that hand goes up by Allen. She knows. This is something Stephen Hart talked about, both ends of the pitch, being more efficient with your decision making, but also in how you're executing. And that was poor. It wasn't a free header. Challenge with the player on her back, but you can't drop it right at the top of the 18. Has to be cleared wide and out of harm's way.
And a foul on Moo on Collie Johnson. We're going to see a free kick here.
Johnson again, and Moo just comes in, cleans out the feet of Johnson. Easy decision for the referee.
And we've seen some of these free kick opportunities. Usually it's Maggie Doherty-Howard on the ball delivering to Michaela Moore. And they have punished Halifax in the past, but so has Collie Johnson.
Maya Jones behind the ball as well. Michaela Moore, frequent target, standing in an offside position.
Read by Benatti, perhaps the delivery not there by Jones.
Just a poor decision, Signa. You can't be wasteful with that type of opportunity. A little bit of of a miscommunication there. That ball from Savitsky was intended for the feet of Baucom.
And Sid Kennedy is going to run a little long to Talbert, and she'll grab that in her box, but back and forth through first opening 15 minutes here. Ball bouncing, curious ball. Benatti, and bounced off her arm, so that'll be a handball at the top of the box for the Wild.
The insertion of Michaela Moore instantly helps this Calgary Wild team, but you can see there's going to be a little bit of rust with how that partnership expresses itself between Betteridge and Moore, and then also how it relates to Talbert as the goalkeeper. And you saw it there with that header from Betteridge. That should just be brought down, passed back to Talbert, and then you restart your build-up. But instead it was perhaps an opportunity for the Tides.
Tides with a slight edge in terms of possession right now with nearly 55%. Foster Inman out of her goal. Wickers.
And you can see Jorian Baucom, or maybe you didn't see it, but I saw it. She lifted a hand up to say, I went charging in there as a trigger on this higher press. They have set a higher line of confrontation through about 18 minutes to start this match. It's critical that they start this match well and stay engaged with it, but nobody followed. So there's a disconnect there. If you see somebody go, the whole team has to follow. All three lines have to move up and stay knitted together.
Move to Benatti. Benatti trying to slip it through again for Kennedy, too far. And Talbert is there to sweep it away. Show to Miller. Two veterans in the midfield, Cho versus Savitsky.
Savitsky herself just back from international duty and not showing any signs of being sluggish. Just right back into things and driving the play in the heart of the midfield for Calgary.
Philippines international played two unofficial friendlies against the San Diego Wave and Albion San Diego just last week. And she's been a real constant this season in a team amongst injuries. Jackie Savitsky from Coquitlam, BC. Journey woman, whether it's through the University of Victoria where she played her university soccer or overseas in various environments, including Australia. Miller trying to get by Storty. Storty's not going to give up on that, and it's a goal kick.
Storty might get beat initially, but you can be sure that she's storming back. And this is a fabulously timed tackle. She drives in on Sarah Miller. She's trying to turn that corner and whip it in. And Storty surely points to her own 18-yard box, that 6-yard box, to say that's our ball.
Valorant gets the call. And everybody aware of Julianne Valeron now. They're not, just because she plays right back doesn't mean that she's not going to join the attack with 3 goals on the season, including 2 against this Calgary Wild team.
The dynamic play of both Valeron, of course, since she's getting on the score sheet, is more of a talking point, but her counterpart on the opposite side and Cheyenne Allen are an integral part to how the Halifax Tides are attacking this year.
Benatti on the ball. In and Talbert had to deal with that. Got an awkward punch on it. And we'll see a corner kick here for the Halifax Tides.
That had the makings of an own goal all over it. There was no reason to come out and to choose to punch that ball. It should have been an easy claim for Caitlin Talbert and the Calgary Wild's ball. Instead, it's another opportunity, and it gives the Tides time to set up and for Benatti to whip in what was a dangerous ball before, almost connected with Rhodes.
Benatti in, going far post. Headed down, but away by Michaela Moore.
That was Valeron on the back post. We saw in the pregame, we talked about the last time these two teams met, and it was a 4-0 win. A rout, you might say, the away team, the Tides, that went into McMahon and walked away with all 3 points, and a really convincing victory. And the second goal in the day was Valeron, free header on the back post.
Just went over the touchline there for throw. Nice flick. Valeron shot into the arms of Talbert. Picked off by Cho So-hyun. Stopping that forward attack. Moo. But Savitsky recovering.
The Wild currently struggling to escape pressure as you've got a high line of confrontation by the Tides and good numbers around the ball at all times by the Tides.
Moore sending the ball over top. Bauckham is there. Allen had to recover. Sonia alone has time to find Johnson. Collie Johnson. It's the cross in. It's going to be a dangerous one. Cheyenne Allen got a foot on it, and Foster Inman was
just able to recover Cheyenne Allen, because as Johnson beats Valeron, is able to whip this cross in. She's able to wrap her foot around it, pull it away from Foster Inman. You get to see Maya Jones get the inside track on Allen, but she does enough to prevent a shot.
And that partnership between Maya Jones and Collie Johnson is one that we're keeping an eye on this season, connecting on 2 goals against the Montreal Roses earlier this year. Maya Jones, you know her backstory, coming back from a long-term injury, coming into the game, playing 14 minutes and converting a brace.
Nice bit of business for about 15 minutes. So you mentioned the Jones and the Johnson tandem, but what's looked most promising for me from Calgary's perspective is this right side with Jones coming inside, allowing Storty to overlap on the outside, and then combining with the focal point of the attack and Jorian Bauckham. That interplay between those 3, they need to get the ball over on the right flank a little bit more.
Benatti to Miller, overlapping is Cho So-hyun. Savitsky will get there first and shepherd that out for a throw. Storty heads that away. Wild throw.
I mentioned both teams picking their spots on the high press. You can see there in the middle third, both Baucom and Stewart applying pressure to Wickers, but in so doing, Savitsky and that midfield line are staying a little bit deeper, and that little pass to Moo is available in between the lines.
Wickers going over top to a charging Valeron. Tilly James making sure that goes out for a goal kick. Tilly James sliding over to the left to fullback position today. Has been playing a lot of center back this season.
With the raft of injuries they're facing, the players are put under pressure, but McSherry sometimes has no choice. You need to be versatile. You have to help the team, and sometimes it won't be in your desired position.
Late challenge, and this could be a dangerous free kick opportunity for the Tides, especially with somebody like Julia Benatti on the ball.
Yeah, we saw in that 4-0 win, we saw Sarah Taylor play provider and work her magic off of dead balls, but Benatti is equally as capable.
So it is Benatti on the ball. Is it a shot? Is it a cross? Benatti. It's a cross. Miller. Header was looking to maybe flick it on there, was Julianne Valeron, but...
Yeah, that was, sorry Signa, that was the right ball by Benatti. It had enough pace on it, under hit slightly, but you had the numbers in the back post, and it comes back to Miller. That ball then has to go back across the face of goal.
That was well won by Jordan Rhodes. The cross in, and Benatti takes a deflection out for a corner kick.
Oh, and you had Sid Kennedy and Jordan Rhodes just in behind there. A little bit of a dummy, and maybe had an opportunity, but Sonia coming up here on the wrong end of this challenge with Jordan Rhodes. That is just well won. It's a physical challenge. It's a physical game, but that is cleanly won by Rhodes.
Short corner this time. Benatti. Driven in over top. It's another beauty from Benatti. Benatti strikes for a second straight game. A beauty on the ball, and the Halifax Tides have a 1-0 lead over the Wild.
We talked about it in the pregame with Benatti here on the dead balls, on the service for corners as well. Whips this in, just changes the angle ever so slightly, forces Talbert to adjust her feet, and then just surprises her here with a well-struck ball that I think was probably a cross. But that goes into the back of the net, so we're undecided. Is it Benatti Butte? Is it a Benatti banger? It doesn't matter. The Halifax Tides are on the board, and she opens the scoring.
Second goal of the season. You highlighted the one we saw against the Ottawa Rapid in their last game before the international break. Amy in the pregame show with Kate, and you know, when she has a sight on goal, she sniffs out the back of the net.
Well, voted goal of the year in the inaugural season of NSL, Julia Benatti, playing more of a substitute role with the Ottawa Rapid, playing that offensive midfield position, usually occupied by Mina Lee.
And now playing provider, Jordan Rhodes couldn't get the shot off. Calgary escaping there. So just inside 30 minutes, a 1-0 lead for the Halifax Tides. So the Calgary Wild on the road, looking to stay positive. They've seen some good moments in the early going here in this game, much better for Sinead McSherry's side.
Coach Stephen Hart talked about reconciling sometimes a good performance where you didn't necessarily get the results. And here, good moments, good positive play, forward-minded and forward-thinking in their approach. Being brave on the ball is rewarded, and it's by way of the foot of Julia Benatti.
Stewart getting by Leslie. Tegan Stewart showing that immense technical ability. I think she's almost faster with the ball sometimes. Skivitsky, Storty.
Good help by Miller to come back, double up. Storty's always trying to beat her player, creating that width for Calgary. I mentioned this right-hand side, but Calgary needs a response here. McSherry was talking about instilling belief and the confidence. Well, you need to do it here. You need to show a response and get something positive.
That's nice by Maya Jones there. Betteridge turning back. Or to Sonia, nice switch of play there from the Wild. And Johnson against Valeron. Valeron wins the challenge. Valeron again showing patience. Some frustration from Callie Johnson, thought that Sinamu had run into her there, maybe created some interference.
Yeah, Valeron read that really well as Johnson tried to cut it inside. She's able to win possession, and then in trying to recover and apply that counter pressure, just collided with Sinamu and went down in the 18 and looked to the referee to say that wasn't just incidental contact.
Ball slid through to Kennedy, cutting back to that left foot, looking for the shot. Scooped up by Cho, across the front of goal. Miller tries to curl it in, far post, and just off the mark.
Miller has been, I think, the Tide's best player through the beginning of the second season, but you wonder if she didn't just have a little bit more time. She goes for that first time with the right foot off of this left flank, but she touches that inside. I think she beats Grace Storty and can set herself up to find more of the net with that finish.
Johnson lays it off to Stewart. Johnson will earn the call there. Taking some early beatings in this game, Callie Johnson.
Yes, it's the physical aspect, because we know that's a really combative physical duel out there, that matchup between Valeron and Johnson, but it's also the mental aspect to stay in the game when you're taking a beating.
Foster-Inman off her line. Cheyenne Allen trying to play in Sarah Miller, and it's to be offside anyway.
Again, there you're just seeing like the execution be slightly off from Allen there. We saw that finish with Miller. Just the decision making, is it first time, is it second time, and I'm taking it with my right foot there with Allen. That ball delivered into space, hit with the right foot. It ended up being offside, but you don't give very much chance to your front runner if you're not bending that in with your left foot. Even if it's not your favorite foot, you need to give the player who's running onto the ball a little bit more angle.
Savitsky. Sonia. James to Johnson. Johnson cutting inside. That's a nice turn, Callie Johnson. And Valeron comes from behind and tucks that away. gives the ball away, and that'll be
And the card for accumulation, as the referee indicates, not once, not twice, but 3 times for Sonia. And this is just cleanly won by Valorant after she is initially beat by Johnson. So that's a great battle so far, Signa, through 35 minutes. Just a body there by Sonia, doesn't take the ball, that's well out of her feet, and it's a late challenge as well. But as the referee indicated, that's a couple of times that was maybe a foul but allowed to play on, and then booked for good measure, because 3 times is a couple of times too many.
And a call the other way. Jordan Rhodes on Michaela Moore.
The numbers right now, Signa, particularly in the midfield, you've got Savitsky, who's doing quite well marshalling midfield for the Calgary Wild, but in that middle third, as they're building up out of their own end. But the Tides, with the numbers that they have there, are dominating not only the knockdowns, their first to balls, but most of the possession in the middle of the pitch in that central channel.
That was a late challenge. And it'll be a yellow card there for Sinamu.
Johnson's got a, yeah, we don't even see the challenge there, but we saw it in real time. And Sonia just got absolutely cleaned out, and you wonder if that's not just a little bit of retaliation, a message being sent for the foul on Valorant.
Tegan Stewart sticks with it. Plays it out wide, has Johnson. Johnson, the cross in, it's low, and Foster Inman is there. Yeah, I look back to last season with Collie Johnson in an early game against the Halifax Tides. Of course, Johnson with some injury troubles last year, had 4 goals for the Wild. 2 of those came against the Tides. Very dangerous player, and this could be dangerous here. Sarah LeMiller, the cross in, and cleared just in time.
Good work to regain possession by Valorant and Kennedy.
Ball back to Kennedy now. Finds Cho So-yoon. Playing the ball into Allen. Allen keeping it alive just at the touchline. Miller, you can hear Stephen Hart said, keep it moving. Don't want to slow down. Here's Jorian Bockham. As Johnson, she's onside. Collie Johnson, the shot! Oh, just wide. What a strike by Collie Johnson, but it just missed the far post.
And I thought that Jorian Bockham had wasted too much time to get this ball into the feet of Callie Johnson in behind, who looked to be just onside, even though Annika Leslie lifted her arm up, indicating that she was in an offside position, but that doesn't miss by much at that far post. It's the best opportunity the Calgary Wild have had, Signa, so far.
Tides pushing forward, just Kennedy getting tangled up with James. And ball given away. Jordan Rhodes battling with Jackie Savitsky, does really well to make sure nothing happened out of that, and Again, the slippery pitch showing there. Maya Jones now. Baucom. And some salty language shows you what the Wild feel about maybe not getting on the right side of that call.
Little mini embrace shared after that, so no love lost, but the frustration coming through and manifesting itself in a hard foul on Shea and Allen.
Leslie looking to Allen. Try to head it to Miller. Miller wins the ball, cuts inside, just a little too far, and Moore finds Maya Jones, nicely brings that down, just showing her quality. Cho.
And Cho's able
smartly wins it back.
Able to recover in time after an errant pass, but you're seeing an increase in tempo here. It's a little bit frantic, it's a little bit sloppy. Not nearly as tidy or as clean as we started this contest, especially from the Tides. So lots of exchanges of possession, and then the game might open up here.
Moore again. Sweeping the ball away.
There's Maya Jones on the ball in her own defensive third. Calgary has to again find her feet, get her involved in this match. She's gone quiet the last 10 minutes and it's hurt the Wild.
And we don't know how many minutes Maya Jones has in the game, but certainly every time she touches the ball, you just see that quality.
You see the offense come to life, and you also start to see it look a little bit more dynamic. You start to see players rotate, pull the Tides out of position, start to drag defenders out, find pockets of space for Tegan Stewart to run into. It's not all engineered by Maya Jones, but Calgary are a better team when she's got the ball on her foot.
Jordan Rhodes staying with it until Betteridge broke that up. Ball given away. There's Miller. Sarah Miller cutting to her right foot. Sarah Miller! It's 2-0 right before the half, and the Halifax Tides, best player this season, converting again. 2-0 for the home side.
You could feel that coming, Signa. That's a poor giveaway by Callie Johnson. It finds the feet of Sarah Miller, and she goes straight towards Talbert, touches her out of her feet and finds her right foot and is able to beat Talbert to her right. As she gets around Betteridge, she's got one thing on her mind, and that is driving that ball into the back of the net. And Sarah Miller is on fire to start season 2 in NSL.
Third goal of the season for Sarah Miller, a local Halifax product, and it's a 2-0 lead right before the half. Calgary Wild having a little regroup.
Here from the perspective behind the goal, Talbot didn't stand a chance on that, but you could feel it coming. I mentioned the higher press on both sides. I thought Jackie Savitsky has done well to be an outlet for that pressure, especially for that back line. But with a giveaway about 20 yards away from your net, you're going to get punished, and that's what the Tides have been working on, being more efficient in front of goal. Their final ball, their final action, and Sarah Miller, that might be the dagger blow right there for Calgary right before the second half whistle, or the first half whistle rather.
So just 1 minute of added time in this opening half. You're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. Tide's not messing around right before the half after gathering some momentum with that Miller goal. Scored a brace the last time she faced the Calgary Wild. Has one. And there is halftime from the Wanderers grounds in Halifax. Julia Bonatti, the opening goal for the Halifax Tides. On a beauty, and Sarah LaMiller there, you see her getting some congratulatory high fives from her teammates, scoring the second one right before the half. It is the Tides with a 2-0 lead over the Calgary Wild. We've got 45 left to play, and we've got the halftime show straight ahead.
What is this?
Whew. Oh, like real glasses, like prescription?
No prescription, that's good. Are they real?
No.
Okay, woo! We're like, are we bringing gotcha. We're gonna get you in a business mode because you're gonna elevator pitch why someone should be a fan of your team. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
60 seconds.
All right, this is gonna be good.
Hey you, are you looking for a new hobby? Well boy, do I have the best one for you.
We'll start off nice and easy. McMahon Stadium, Olympic Stadium. Can't get any more rowdy than that.
Family. Who doesn't love a family feel?
I'm just gonna cut to the chase here. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time. I'm not gonna take up 18 minutes of this video to tell you should come support Toronto, because you should already know that you should support Toronto.
And you know where you can get that? The Halifax Tides.
Our players, incredibly talented, incredibly inspiring to watch.
Do you like sports? How about women's sports? If you don't, it means you just haven't even watched them yet.
The people on the team are amazing. Olivia Scott, number 18, is super cool. She's a great center back. Watch out for her.
Why not come out in July? Stampede, biggest rodeo in all of North America. We got cowboys, cowgirls, country singers, rappers, music artists. Best thing yet, Wild also plays during the 2 weeks Stampede is on, so you can go to Stampede all day, come party with the Wild all night.
If I was you, I would definitely pick an NSL team that is nearest to you, or just pick the Vancouver Rise.
Representing the Maritimes, representing the East Coast.
We wear really cool colors and have a lot of fun stuff going on at the game, a lot of giveaways.
Come out, go tailgate with the Storty family in the parking lot before the game, and make sure you come say hi to me after.
Why wouldn't you want Toronto? We have Drake, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, ketchup chips.
Watch the Tides make a statement, because the tides are turning.
I love that. You knew what you were doing with that one. Yeah.
I like to keep everyone on their toes.
I don't know. Skip, can we go back to it?
One word for 2026.
Growth.
Excited. Legendary.
Baller. 2 words for 2026, round 2.
The vibe in our locker room is...
Young?
Killer.
Hype.
The vibe is good, yeah. The vibe is really fun.
Immaculate. The vibes in our locker room is just fun.
Most underrated teammate.
Ooh, underrated teammate. I just met them.
I think JC's an incredible player in our back line. I think she's going to be really exciting this year.
Annika Toad. I think she's a great goalkeeper and everybody should get to know her more. I want to say Shalom people, but is she underrated? I don't know. She's properly rated. Probably the twins. They could be together.
Flo. You just like her personality, you would never know until you get to know her, and then she's like quite literally one of the funniest people you'll ever meet.
So you gotta pick one of your teammates who's taking the last shot.
I choose Quinny with my eyes closed.
Annie for one last shot. She's solid.
Maggie.
Stevie Pridham.
Tanya Borchak.
Olivia Scott.
The league better watch out for blank.
Ottawa Rapid.
Montreal Roses 2026.
Us. For Vancouver, like obviously.
The league better watch out for the Tides.
Halifax Tides, new team this year.
Calgary Wild.
The league better watch out for Vancouver because we're ready to rise.
We're gonna end off on
like
I love that. You knew what you were doing with that one. Yeah. The NSL is blank.
Inspiring.
An amazing group of incredible women.
It's a great place to showcase Canadian young talents. La Ligue est inspirante.
The NSL is a dream come true.
The NSL is powerful.
The NSL is now.
Welcome to the NSL Halftime Show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. The Halifax Tides up 2-0 over the Calgary Wild. As we look at the stats at the half, And one of the things Amy Walsh and I were talking about here in studio is that Calgary does indeed have more possession, but as Amy says, just wasn't as purposeful. The Tide certainly in control of this one, particularly in the latter part of the half. Let's go pitch side now, where Brianne Foley is standing by with Sarah Miller.
Sarah, earlier this week, Stephen Hart talked about efficiency on both ends of the field. What were you seeing out there today that made you so capable today?
Yeah, I think we were just connecting passes as a team in general, and we honestly pounced on moments in their final third where we felt like we could win it, and we went aggressively, we went together, and we won it, and it paid off in the first half.
You were hungry for that one. We could see it. We saw the celebrations from the team around you. What do you do to continue this pressure going into the second half?
Yeah, definitely it's about not letting up. You know, we know that Calgary is capable to come back in these moments, and we've seen that. So we need to stay focused on our game plan and not change too much, and just make sure that we come in with the same energy we did in the first half.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tides fans indeed love Sarah Miller, and they have everything to love about her performance today and all season long. And we're going to talk about her goal in just a minute, but let's go in chronological order here, Amy, with the opening goal for the Tides. Julia Benatti does it again, second game in a row with a beauty of a goal.
Yeah, the Benatti Butte or the Benatti Banger, either way, it works. And you could feel this coming the same way that you felt the Miller goal coming off of the press. And just numbers here, you shift it out as a goalkeeper. Kate, you can speak to this. You play the short corner to change what's happening, to change the angle, to draw players out. Talbot doesn't reset the way that she needs to, comes off her line, and she's beaten over her head because it's hit with enough pace, with enough menace. And we know the quality of Benatti on a set piece. We saw it a little bit before that, doesn't convert, but they're able to do it off the back of a short corner.
And as you said on the call, surprised Talbot, and may have even surprised herself. Is it a cross? Is it a shot? Either way, it's in the back of the net.
Cross, shot, doesn't matter, it counts.
Let's talk about Sarah Miller's second goal. I said we would. It is our Intact Insurance move of the half. She used the word pounce in that interview. She really pounced on this ball and drove directly at Talbot.
Well, something that the Tides have done to magnificent effect is to swarm the ball when they lose it on the counter press. Here it's gifted to them from Callie Johnson, but Sarah Miller only has one thing on her mind, and is going direct. You look at her first touch, it's instantly towards goal. She takes it to her right foot and then doesn't hesitate. We saw her take a one-time shot earlier when she had more time. Right decision, right action, and right execution.
And that was our Intact Insurance move of the half for a reason. It was a thing of beauty. So let's talk about Calgary. Again, they're searching for their first win. How do they get back into this one?
I mentioned it on the call talking to Signa about it. It's via Maya Jones, like that right-hand side with Grace Doherty providing the width, Maya Jones cutting inside on her left, and Jorian Baucom as the focal point, and interchanging and rotating, and then Tegan Stewart diving into the spaces, the pockets when Baucom comes off the back line. That's their way in, but the ball came there too few and far between. You had Stewart one time, had two players, I believe it was Storty, and you had Jones over on that side. She elects to go across to Johnson, and then the ball just ends up in the midst of Foster Inman. So they have to have better decision-making themselves in a final third, but get the ball on Jones's foot.
And apparently Maggie Doherty-Howard, the captain, who is so critical, has been warming up on the sidelines. She is a game changer in every sense of the word, so we'll see if we see her in this second half. But coming up here in studio, we'll welcome a very special guest, Canadian women's national team member, Man City standout, WSL champ, Jade Rose will join us.
Watching dough rise always fills me with inspiration.
Don't ever look at my savings account. The dough doesn't rise.
BMO has two simple ingredients to make your savings rise. Great interest rates and no monthly fees.
Yeah, that would do it all right.
Plus, get a cash bonus for opening a checking and savings account.
So BMO helps your savings grow bigger faster.
Like a triple dose of yeast.
You're hired.
What? No, I wasn't looking for it.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
BMO. Everyone watches women's sports because why wouldn't you?
Because it brings us together. It's competitive and exciting and new and fresh.
The women who play are so competitive, so tough, fierce, and just leave their emotions all out on the field.
Everybody watches women in sport because we're the best.
Everyone watches women's sports because greatness has no gender.
Because we're a bunch of badass athletes and we love to compete and we're just fun to be around.
Because it's fun and exciting.
Tout le monde regarde le sport féminin parce que les femmes ont eu besoin de briser beaucoup de barrières pour arriver où elles sont aujourd'hui. Donc ça vaut la peine qu'on les regarde et qu'on les encourage.
Everyone watches women's sports because they have good taste. And they should.
Because this is just the beginning.
And at the end of the day, I am proud to kick like a girl, play like a girl, and score like a girl.
First game. First whistle. First goal. First jersey. First autograph. First favorite player. First away game. First big win. First time thinking, that's gonna be me. Firsts help us move forward together. Toyota, founding partner of the first professional women's soccer league in Canada.
Welcome back to the NSL on TSN. Well, we are so pleased to be joined by our next guest. She's an absolute champ. I mean that in every sense of the word. A standout with Man City, a standout with our Canadian women's national team. I'm talking about Jade Rose, who's joining us in studio today. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, I just spoke about some of your accolades. Your first season as a pro, remarkable. What was the experience like?
The experience has exceeded every single expectation that I had going into it. I mean, moving across the world to a completely new country and a completely new team, having to fight for a starting spot, and then going on to make history with the club, it was a dream come true.
And listen, with the women's national team, you've seen the jump in your level, like what the pro game has brought back to the national team. You guys are coming off a huge win versus Costa Rica. How would you assess where the team is at looking towards November for Olympic and World Cup qualification?
Yeah, I think that the team's in a great position. I think that, a lot of people were worried about the fact that we only had one matchless window, that we were, we weren't playing a top 10 team. And I think for us, a lot of it came down to, getting great training minutes in, having a lot of time with the squad, building those partnerships, building those connections on the pitch, so that when we get around to qualifiers, that all the pieces are falling into place.
Now you're back home in Toronto, in Canada, just in time for the Men's World Cup. Yeah. Typically in season you live in England, where soccer culture is so widespread, it's so immersive. What do you think, what do you hope this tournament will do for soccer culture in this country?
I think that it's going to skyrocket in this country. I think when I think about, what the 2012 Olympics did for me, when I think about what the 2015 World Cup did for me, that is what this World Cup is going to do for the next generation and for so many players today. It's going to ignite that love of the game, that love of football culture, and I can't wait to see the fans and to see how our team does.
And listen, we know you were busy in Manchester winning the double, but when you had some downtime, were you watching the NSL? Who are you watching and what are you most impressed with?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to catch whatever game I can. I know so many players across the league, and it is a little tricky with the time difference, so I'm just catching whatever game's on, but I love to look out for a lot of the players that I grew up playing with. Nikki Small, the captain at AFC, Sarita at Calgary, and so many other players across the league that, I'm still friends with to this day.
Amazing.
Well, you're watching them. They're undoubtedly watching you. Likely so proud of your success, as are we. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Jade.
Halifax thrilling their home fans up 2-0 over the Calgary Wild. Julia Bonatti and Sarah Miller getting them on the board. The Wild will try to turn the tides in the second half. Lots more to come. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Diana Matheson, legend of the field and founder of the Northern Super League. Are you wondering where to watch Northern Super League matches live this season? Confused by TV networks, channels, streams, and schedules? You could visit NSL.ca and download the 2026 schedule to your smartphone, but who's got time for that? Not me. That's why we're introducing the 2026 Northern Super League game schedule hotline. Just dial 1-833-NSL Live and we'll tell you where to watch every match. It's simple, it's easy. It's like the opposite of AI. No, seriously, call it. They made me pre-record all the weekly messages, and we have like 80 matches.
Call the NSL Schedule hotline now. 1-833-NSL Live. That's 1-833-NSL Live. It's free, it's real, and yes, you can leave us a message. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us your favorite team. Tell us why everyone should watch the Northern Super League. Call now, find out where and when to watch, and tune in.
One substitution to tell you about as we begin this second half. It'll be Janaea Robertson coming in for Jackie Savitsky. Likely player management minutes. Savitsky coming off duty with the Philippines women's national team. So Janaea Robertson coming into the central midfield position for the Calgary Wild. No changes for the Halifax Tides, and well, why not? Leading 2-0 going into the second half of action at the Wanderers grounds in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Signa Butler alongside former Canadian international. It's Amy Walsh on the call with you today. So glad you're with us. Opening half saw goals by Julia Bonatti and Sarah Miller to give the Tides the lead over the Calgary Wild, but we'll see what the sort of halftime conversations were like. And, you know, if you're in that room and you're a Calgary Wild player, what are you saying to the rest of your team?
We had a break. It's time to leave it all out on the pitch right now. Like if we want to stay in this game, then this next 15 minutes must set a tone. So you need to stop being passengers here and try to take it to the Halifax Tides and get yourself on the scoreboard in some way or another.
Interim head coach Sinead McSherry, said she was really impressed with the work ethic of her team coming into this week out of the international break. All of the team, they weren't scheduled to practice actually on Wednesday of this week. It was a day before travel, and all the players came in. They wanted to do their IDPs, their individual development plan, work on the things that they need to do, whether it's working on shots, working on one-on-one defending, all of those things in their plans. And the attitude was positive, and we'll see if the attitude can remain positive in this second half. Let's head down to Brienne Foley, who's at pitch side.
Yes, head coach Sinead McSherry did tell me that they gave away those 2 goals and that they need to make it harder for Halifax to score. They need to be better at reading the play, but she says overall they still have that positive energy about them. Of course, Michaela Moore has about 15 minutes left with the team, so they are going to have to make some adjustments as they're managing those minutes.
Brienne, thanks so much. Yeah, that was one of the things we asked on the coach's call, as we see a cross of the box dealt with by Talbert and quickly taken out by Callie Johnson, taken down, and the play will be called back.
Bodies flying everywhere as Talbert takes out Rhodes.
And Cinemo's going to get a red card here.
That's her second yellow. So play allowed to continue following that coming together between Talbert and Rhodes. And Cinemood picked up a yellow card in the first half of action. Comes through the back of Callie Johnson for her second yellow and a sending off. That seems harsh to me, Signa Butler. Was it a foul? Certainly. Was it worthy of a yellow card? Not in my estimation.
Well, the Norwegian midfielder is heading off the pitch. Day done early, and now Halifax down to 10 players. So an advantage here for the Calgary Wild to get themselves back in this game. Turned and cleared out of danger by Cheyenne Allen. Moore switching the play to Johnson.
You see with the addition of a player like Moore lends to your attack. Of course, the veteran presence, the leadership at the back, especially as part of that back line, which was an issue with Calgary to start the year. Signa, but the line-breaking passes, also her ability to spray the ball, the long-range passing, connecting with the wingers with, you know, a couple touches and then it's sprung out to the left side. That's something that the Calgary Wild have been missing in the way that they're attacking.
And Brienne was alluding to the fact that she may only have 15 more minutes to play. It is a player management coming back from injury, of course. So Michaela Moore just putting her imprint on the game right now, setting the example for her team, and another darting ball forwards to Collie Johnson. And Addie Wickers had to make sure that that went away out of bounds.
It'll be interesting to see how, in terms of the game, is managed by Stephen Hart. If we see a substitution coming here, a little tweak to the formation to make them better equipped to defend with only 10 players. Seem to have dropped to a 4-4-1 with Rhodes as that lone striker.
Cho So-hyun battling with Jorian Baucom. Wickers back to Foster Inman. That's sky high. And lands the foot of Johnson. Johnson now gets the cross in the box. Sonia scoops it out to Storty. Robertson. Keeping the ball. Jones again. Baucom turns the inside just wide. Another opportunity for the Calgary Wild. We saw one from Collie Johnson in the opening half, and this time Jorian Baucom.
We thought the threat was going to come from that right-hand side, but Grace Storty finds the feet of Baucom, and that's more like it. That's what you need from the player leading your line. You need them to threaten, to cause havoc for the opposition's back line, and she does it, gets on a half turn and doesn't miss by much to find that far post just to Inman, Foster Inman's right. Battle now between Kennedy and Johnson. Something Calgary, and I'm sure this is a word that McSherry had with their players, is yes, you're down by 2 goals, but they were also on the wrong end of the battles in the middle of the park. We talked about the numbers and how they fared there, but just being first to balls, winning all those knockdowns, it doesn't take much to be better at the things that don't require any talent. Just put in the effort, put in the tackles, make it difficult for the opposition. I thought they made things way too easy for the Tides in the first half.
Again, if you're just joining us, 5 minutes into this second half from the Wanderers' grounds, Halifax Tides do lead 2-0, down to 10 players after the second yellow card to Sinamu. Miller. Leslie back to Riley Foster Inman. Jones. Storty breaking lines. Robertson. Jones, that one-on-one ability, carrying it forward.
Rides a couple of challenges from Allen. Sonia looking for Kennedy to be booked there.
Free kick opportunity here for the Calgary Wild. Some big targets up front. Jorian Baucom, Michaela Moore among them. Grace Doherty on the ball for the Calgary Wild. Chipped over top. Headed onwards. And Foster Inman just under her arm. Out for a corner kick.
Claiming that she didn't get a piece of that, but this is just a clipped ball into some traffic by Grace Doherty. And I think it surprises Foster Inman. It comes off of the flick and then is well aware of where Annette is, but doesn't get the ball at all and is out for a corner kick. So another opportunity for the Calgary Wild. They have to keep their foot on the accelerator here. All smiles, but very physical in both teams' 6-yard box.
Jones, the ball in. Not dealt with Doherty. Oh, what a block.
I think that's Sid Kennedy stunned after blocking that shot. Oh no, it's Julianne Vallerand. Took the full brunt.
That was a strike by Grace Doherty. Take another look at this.
It's Rhodes that comes, oh, it's off the side of the face. Tries to shake it off, but then has to drop a knee down, and you can understand why. Oh my goodness. I think everybody at Wanderers grounds felt the full brunt of that block to the side of Julianne Vallerand's face.
So Vallerand will get a little look at this. Of course, any kind of strike to the head, whether it's a ball or a body. Vallerand seems to be all right. A few blades of grass to show for it.
Check if her jaw is still on right after that one. Oh, the sound that made, Signa.
Oh.
Not afraid to throw her body in harm's way, though, that's for sure.
So Vallerand having to step off the pitch after that medical attention, and we will play on. Allen making sure that goes out for a goal kick. Substitutions now for the Halifax Tides. We'll see Sid Kennedy come out of the game. Stella Downing entering the match, number 98. And Sarah Taylor coming into the match for Julia Benatti. Sarah Taylor just turning 30 earlier this week, a fan favorite from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. And Stella Downing, who came over, of course, from the Ottawa Rapid last year, battling injuries at the start of the season, but has made her way back into the lineup. This is her third appearance of the season. Ball flicked on in the opposite direction than the Wild want it to Sarah LeMiller. Miller has Sarah Taylor. Taylor and Sonia gets a foot on that. Cho dropping back. Miller showing that skill as well. Miller, it's still Sarah LeMiller with a shot blocked by Betteridge.
Just brilliant from the Tides. You wouldn't know that they're playing a player down. And part of it is Cho there as part of their build-up, some animations and the way that they attack, rolling out. Miller pushing forward but pulling into the half space. And then still beating two players, able to ride out tackles and create something in the final third. And what's critical for the Tides is you still get Allen bombing on, even though they're a player down. You still get those numbers up the pitch.
Wickers. Cho dropping into those pockets. South Korean legend Johnson coming inside.
Downing coming on and not wasting any time. Very physical despite her small stature, and numbers again for the Tides around the ball. So initial foul there on Valeron, and it's Downing coming to close Johnson on the other side. So Kylie Johnson, even on managed minutes here, is just taking a beating for the Calgary Wild. A little bit unlucky there in the way that she came together as she gets around Valeron. That's where the whistle goes initially, but suffers almost 2 fouls.
22-year-old from Sydney, Australia. 3 caps with the Matildas at the senior level, though had been to a couple of under-20 World Cups. So a player on the rise, and a very important player to the way that the Wild want to attack as well. Callie Johnson back on her feet. See Anderson Williams warming up on the sidelines, back for perhaps her first appearance of the season.
You can understand from the Calgary Wild's perspective, they're the away side, but they're down 2 goals. Now you're a player up. You need to be the aggressors. You need to be able to dictate terms to the Halifax Tides, but it hasn't turned out that way.
Cho winning the tackle against Robertson. And Cho does not like that. And Robertson will get a yellow card.
We saw over the course of the first half, it was a very professional opening from both sides. I think the Tides, again, were the protagonists, but then it turned a little bit chippy. It's always been a physical contest. It got a little bit sloppy, and that's carried over into the second half, exacerbated by the sending off of Sinamu.
Miller broken up by Maya Jones, the 2 Memphis Tigers against the Memphis Tiger. I know I always bring it up, but there's a few of them in the league.
Tiger on Tiger crime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show your stripes.
Signa Butler.
That's your line. Tegan Stewart. Again, moving forward with purpose. Tegan Stewart, the 18-year-old, crossing, finds Johnson. Johnson trying to make something close down by Julianne Valeron. Can she get a cross off? She does. And Foster Inman there to gather that into safe arms.
Instigated by that progressive carry by Tegan Stewart. So good at breaking lines either via passes or the dribble. And Callie Johnson looked a little bit uncertain initially, but is able to get around her mark, get that ball in, but a little touch by Valeron made things easy for Foster Inman.
Some more substitutions on the horizon. So Michaela Moore does exit the game. As expected, Maya Jones coming out, also a player on managed minutes because of injuries. Nice to see Sarita Thurton in, just a couple appearances this season, having injury at the start of the season. And Anderson Williams, her first appearance of the season, the 24-year-old from Calgary. Didn't see much action last year out of Texas A&M, and a former youth Canadian national as well. So some talent coming in. And really for Sinead McSherry's side, positive signs that this international break has allowed them to get a few more bodies back in the lineup, and it's only going to help as they enter the rest of the season.
And they need that to keep happening. More and more players becoming fit, moving off that injured list, so that she can really tap into the depth that this squad has. I think it's limited to begin with, but with all the players injured, it's very difficult to coach a team through 90 minutes. But another shout out to Sarita Thurton was made by our halftime guest and Jade Rose, who referred to her as Sarita, as if she was a Brazilian star.
Well, Sarita Thurton, Canadian Youth International, one of the best young players in the league. I think we saw that last season, and showing her flexibility playing both sides, but particular on the right, connecting with Grace Storty down that right flank.
Well, those bright spots for Calgary in the first half, and we talked about that tandem on the right-hand side with Jones and Storty overlapping, just running up and down that flank, her ability to replicate those runs. You saw it last year in the way that Storty was combining with Thurton.
Ball skied over top, and Caitlin Talbert has that. Finds Robertson as an outlet. To Thurton. Robertson just missing the mark there, and Betteridge there to clean it up. Storty. Williams. Ball into Thurton. Thurton crosses it back, headed away by Leslie.
That cross by Thurton just needed to be pulled back a little bit to find Baucom, who was just on the penalty spot. Better spell of possession, though, by Calgary. Can you see Sonia, at least in possession, has dropped into a back three in an effort to try to get more bodies forward.
Johnson. James shields that back to Sonia. Rain has started to fall in the Nova Scotia capital. So we'll watch the slickness of the grass pitch here at the Wanderers grounds. You heard a moment ago Sinead McSherry from the sideline saying, patience, patience. Up a player. Thurton. And out for a goal kick. Riley Foster-Inman played every minute of every match right now in goal. Spent the international break. I love what she said. She spent the international break on Barrington Street, Gottingen Street, and Agricola. And I said, oh, at least she's getting used to Halifax. She can pronounce Agricola properly.
Settling in just fine.
So she settled in just fine. That's right. Cutting inside. Well done by James. James. Throw in.
Again, the Tides, despite being a player down, sitting compact, organized in their shape. Two banks of four, plus Rhodes up top as the outlet. And no pressure from the Calgary Wild. Just too easy for Leslie to just look up, pick out the feet of Miller.
Storty, that'll be a foul on Allen. Played quickly by the Wild. Pushing players forward, looking to be playing in a 3-back now, with Sonia anchoring that center back. Allen picks that off. Taylor.
That's the decision making there by Allen that Stephen Hart's looking for. Put your foot on the ball, no reason to just get rid of it, maintain possession, and then allow everybody to rest, to come together, to find your shape when you're attacking. And your rest defense is better equipped then for what Calgary throws at you.
Thurton. Thurton. Valeron broke that up.
Calgary right now a little bit too static, not enough movement off the ball. Very predictable. Easy to defend from the Halifax Tides perspective.
Stephen Hart's team ahead 2-0. Just over 20 minutes to play in this second half. Cho intercepts. Cho So-hyun has Downing. Downing looking to go 1v1. Gets the cross in. And out for a goal kick.
Those fresh legs of Stella Downing to be released in that channel. See the reaction of Coach Stephen Hart. And I think Rhodes was able to get a step on Betteridge, and that ball was on near post, but Downing elected to go far post and just lacked the precision to connect with anybody. Didn't really have the numbers in the box, which is to be expected. Is there a player down, maybe more players sitting back a little bit more conservatively? But the Halifax Tides continue business as usual. They've changed very little in the way that they're attacking or even defending, seeing that they're just a player down. One less player up at the top with Rhodes.
Sarah LeMiller cutting it back to Allen.
One last sprint.
Taylor.
We're going to sprint to between the 6 and the 18. Okay? Just from here, sprint between the 6 and the 18.
Stewart. Tegan Stewart has Johnson on this side, pokes it over. Williams. And out for a corner kick. So perhaps a set piece play can get the Wild one goal back into this game, as we see a substitution that will certainly make an impact whether or not she has a cast on her right hand. It's Maggie Doherty-Howard, the captain, coming into the match for Tegan Stewart, who's been very lively tonight.
It's an interesting substitution. I think it makes sense. It's a like for like. You put an offensive midfielder in for an offensive midfielder, but Callie Johnson to me is looking like she's got some tired, heavy legs. So I'm surprised that she's not making way for Maggie Doherty-Howard. But regardless, the addition of the captain to the squad, and especially her quality on set pieces, will give her team a lift.
See how she can make an impact right off the bat here. Maggie Doherty-Howard driving in. Sends it back in the box. Cho heads it away. Ball lands to the foot of Sarah LeMiller. In pursuit is Storty. And Storty wins that back to Sonia. Halifax content to stay in their shape, down a player as James looks forward.
Maggie Doherty-Howard all by herself over on that right touch line. Sorry, that's Grace Storty who's up over there. I saw the armband and assumed that was Maggie Doherty-Howard, but of course it's Grace Storty.
And ball will go out of bounds.
But you hear Sinead McSherry on the touchline preaching patience, but sometimes you just have to go quick and so try to surprise the opponent. And Sonia's got the ball on her foot. You see Storty creating the width by herself, pulling Thurton out of that back line. Why aren't you playing her to feet? Try to move up the pitch, march up there with numbers, trying to create those overloads. They're much too passive right now in the way that they're keeping the ball. Yes, you want to try to manipulate the opponent, try to open them up, but they're not really being aggressive or progressive in the way that they're possessing the ball.
Sonia switching the play quickly to Grace Storty. Williams. Edridge and James, little give and go. An opportunity here. Another one. That's Anderson Williams. Collie Johnson trying to find a break. Pushed off the ball. And Stella Downing moving forward. Has Jordan Rhodes. Rhodes cutting back inside on James. And by Tora Betteridge. What a save by Caitlin Talbert. Caitlin Talbert stepping up and taking it off the shoulder.
Does well to keep this game within touching distance for the Calgary Wild, but Jordan Rhodes does so well to beat not one but two players. Little Meg to get by Betteridge and had that far post beckoning. Cuts inside to beat James, and Betteridge comes flying in. Whoop, little nutmeg. And then Talbert does well to make herself big and keep the score line only down 2.
15 minutes left to play. Sarah Taylor in swinger with the left foot. A header on it by Julianne Vallerand, and maybe got her foot stomped on the process. Seems all right. One substitution for the Calgary Wild. Tilly James exiting the match, and Michelle Romero coming in on the left side. Michelle Romero can play a little bit in the back, but also can charge forward. Venezuelan international.
Seen Romero deployed as a winger as well this season.
Doherty Howard. Stella Downing recovering to get a foot on it. Thurton turning inside. Has Johnson. Johnson doesn't need much space to shoot. Can't get the shot off, blocked by Wickers. Sonia recovers the ball inside her own half. Seeing some tired bodies on the pitch, especially for the Tides, who are down a player. Romero. Cho.
Rhodes doing such a good job providing that outlet, that hold-up play. So smart with the way that she moves, and the work rate as well.
Vallerand on the interception. Doesn't have anybody with her. Thurton. And that's a foul by Cho So-hyun.
It's enough though. Cho gets beaten cleanly as Thurton takes that ball inside. Clotheslines her slightly, but does enough to slow her momentum, allow the Tides to reset.
Shot by Robertson, handled by Foster Inman. Looking to preserve this clean sheet. Miller wins the ball back. As Sonia gets a timely poke at it, because that would have been trouble in the other direction. Doherty Howard tried to keep that alive.
The Tides are able to maintain possession. A rare miscue by Cho. Didn't scan, didn't see, just allows to open her body up there and would have gone into space, and the switch was maybe on. Instead, chooses to play it into pressure.
free kick here for the Halifax Tides. Be Sarah Taylor on the ball, 2 assists on the season, both of those coming against the Calgary Wild in that 4-0 win back on May 24th. Taylor over top, that'll go right to Talbert. Ball slip sliding around. Allen keeps that alive, and Jordan Rhodes is on her horse. Jordan Rhodes against Sonia, tried to cut inside. That was a good tackle by Sonia, right to the foot of Miller. Oh, that was a tough tackle. Miller wanted a corner kick at the very least there.
Showing her displeasure is Sarah Miller, but a timely tackle. We've seen that before from Grace Doherty, who gets beaten to the outside, tries to go in there, and then Miller touches it towards the byline, gets the ball, but cleans out the legs of Miller.
Substitution for the Halifax Tide, Sarah Miller exiting the game. Goal scorer. And Tiffany Cameron entering the match.
I think Miller has a right to feel frustrated there, but that is never going to be given as a penalty.
So Tiffany Cameron, the sub didn't happen within the seconds required, according to FIFA rules. So you need to have you need to be off in 10 seconds. And if you're not, the substituted player has to stay off for 1 minute. So Tiffany Cameron has yet to enter the field of play.
And the Tides need to manage this carefully as they give away possession. That errant ball from Foster Inman, so they're down 2 players for the moment.
So they got to pack their box right now. And a foul. Holly Johnson drawing the foul. She's drawn quite a few today. Tiffany Cameron has entered the pitch. So there's Cameron, 33 for the Tides. And Maggie Doherty Howard on the ball. Little outside maybe her typical range, but I wouldn't, if I'm Foster Inman, I would be a little careful here.
If I'm not mistaken, the goal that she connected with from Michaela Moore early last season was of a similar range, similar distance.
Doherty Howard sends it in. The back header by Annika Leslie. And Julianne Valeron just kicking that up the pitch. Jordan Rhodes in pursuit. Betteridge has got to be careful. And plays it out of bounds. You're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. It's 2-0 for the Halifax Tides at the Wanderers grounds ahead of the Calgary Wild. Tides down to 10 players after a second yellow card to Sinamu earlier in this second half. And Calgary trying to find something on the score sheet here. Holly Johnson broken up by Tiffany Cameron.
But that's more like it, the way that Grace Doherty is able to break lines, find the feet of Callie Johnson to turn, but they must have something after that. What is the next step? Can they break down the back line in the same way that they're able to eliminate the midfield line?
Sonia. Johnson trying to break through. That's Cheyenne Allen. To Downing. Downing moving forward. Broken up by the Wild. Robertson. And past the foot of Sarita Thurton. It's going to sit for Julianne Valeron.
To be more decisive on the ball. Janaea Robertson just too slow to recognize that she had space to drive into, a little bit hesitant, and then the errant pass. It's been the story of the day for the Calgary Wild.
Ball's threaded through, but Sonia there to kick it away before Stella Downing could get up to any trickery. Valeron.
Thurton complaining, saying that took a deflection. I think here Valeron needs to find the feet of Rhodes. Get out of the corner.
Going the other way. Let's head down to Brianne Foley.
Hey, Signa. So, as Stephen Hart said earlier this week, the leadership on and off the field is what's really letting this culture click here with the Halifax Tides. We continue to see the local products just being there in the community as well as on the field. Signa?
A hard tackle there. And the ball driven in. Foster Inman climbing the tightrope to grab that ball.
And a collision with the player in Janaea Robertson, who was in an offside position, or so it looked to me, after a rough tackle, a hard tackle on Romero. Foster Inman does well to hold that ball, go up with confidence, and maintain possession as she falls to ground.
That's Brianne's point. I know there's been some watching parties for the World Cup. Obviously, Jacob Schaffelberg from Port Williams, Nova Scotia, on the national team getting some minutes. And here's Jordan Rhodes. Couldn't get by Talbert. Second time Rhodes has been stoned today.
And identical to that angle where she beat two players, broke inside, was able to make a player, and then found herself one-on-one with Talbert, but in a similar manner. Talbert makes herself big. A little bit of a kick save. We've seen that unorthodox style work for the goalkeeper and for the Calgary Wild, and she's able to keep the scoreline to only down by 2, which is pretty critical to her team, though, that's running out of time to get back into this match.
Valeron picks off the pass, earns the throw. And Rhodes earning the foul.
So despite not finishing those grade A opportunities, and that's what you want your strikers to do, and the Halifax Tides could have killed the game. You're up 3-0, that's it. There's no way back in for the Wild. But despite that, Jordan Rhodes has put in a shift today, especially being a player down for a half an hour. Just run herself ragged as that front runner, the lone one for right now for the Halifax Tides.
Doherty Howard moving forward. Tried to find Thurton. Just maybe on the wrong side of her.
A very difficult ball, but you saw Thurton's run mirrored in behind by Johnson. There was no variety in the way that they were attacking, no space being created.
Romero. Williams will get this back to Sonia as they try and switch the field of play. See if they can get something going down that right side, which has been good, but there is Cheyenne Allen breaking it up. 4 minutes of added time now. And Allen electing to hold up play, waste some of that time away.
Delights the crowd, but you gave away possession initially. Here you've regained it, but I think gave a lot of people their money's worth in that end of the pitch. Allen, I believe, was in an offside position. And then Storty goes right through Johnson. Johnson again down. That mustn't have been Johnson. I thought Storty had fouled Allen. But it's Johnson again coming up on the wrong side of a collision.
Holly Johnson holding that back area. As Maggie Doherty Howard helps her to the sidelines. Holly Johnson has been working her tail off and taking quite a beating today. Not afraid to get stuck in on tackles.
Not afraid at all, and has been trying to endeavor to get 90 minutes fit, match fit again after struggling with a bad, not run of form, but just unlucky in the amount of injuries that were piling up for.
Nice bit of play, interchange there. And they prevent a corner kick. Cross in though, headed away by Wickers. Romero dancing on the inside, and Foster Inman had to watch that near post. Comes up with the save against Michelle Romero.
Something we haven't seen a whole lot of is the Calgary Wild successfully attacking the box. If Romero gets in there and tests Foster Inman, if I'm not mistaken, hits it off the post, just down to her right.
Just over 2 minutes into added time at the Wanderers grounds. Bockham assuring that Calgary maintains possession. Doherty Howard. Doherty Howard, the shot! Yeah, Foster Inman had to be careful. Doherty Howard can turn on a dime, hit it with both feet. Gave her team a shot there. Quick corner kick coming up for the Wild.
Finally, a little bit of urgency to the way that the Calgary Wild are playing, but it's almost too little, too late.
Betteridge. Sarita Thurton gets the cross in. And bodies collide and the woodwork hit. Bockham. Net was empty there for a minute as Foster Inman was flying through the air. She does look like she's hurting back there.
Mistimed off her line there. Looks like she's fighting to catch her breath. Hopefully it's just that, and you hope it's not nothing more serious than that. But as this is whipped in by Sarita Thurton, kind of goes off the side of her boot. And again, that miscommunication. This ball is whipped in with some pace. Foster Inman comes off her line, and there's a touch by Robertson and a coming together of Leslie and Foster Inman. And as she strikes the ground, hopefully just short of breath, but is needing some assistance. This ball kind of sprays slightly errantly off the outside of Sarita Thurton's boot. And Foster Inman is a little bit late to come out, and it's the head of Robertson that glances off at first. Foster Inman is saved by her crossbar, but Leslie and her goalkeeper come together. She's going to need a couple of moments to recover here.
Back on her feet, Foster Inman.
And with all the advances in medical and physio, the best we can do when you're at a loss for air, the wind's knocked out of you, is the leg pump. Like, have we not come further than that, Signa?
Well, we've gone the distance here at the Wanderers grounds. It is a 2-0 victory for the Halifax Tides. And Stephen Hart's Tide, thanks to goals from Julia Bonatti and Sarah LaMiller, earned that 2-0 victory. Foster Inman with the clean sheet at home.
And that was important after conceding 2 goals at Wanderers grounds right before the international break. So that's good for the goalkeeper. And I think for the Halifax Tides, it was a masterful first half where they were ruthless and they were opportunistic. I think Jordan Rhodes had a couple of opportunities to really ice the game and kill it, put it really out of reach for the Calgary Wild, who showed a little bit of urgency at the end, the insertion of their captain, Maggie Doherty-Howard, but it was just too little, too late on the day.
Well, we kicked off week 8 with this matchup between the visiting Calgary Wild and Halifax Tides. The Tides coming out on top 2-0 as we continue in this Northern Super League season. Thanks for joining us.
This Northern Super League match is brought to you by Canadian Tire, proud founding partner of the NSL. And by Simon, proud fashion partner of the NSL.
Watching dough rise always fills me with inspiration.
Don't ever look at my savings account. The dough doesn't rise.
BMO has 2 simple ingredients to make your savings rise. Great interest rates and no monthly fees.
Yeah, that would do it all right.
Plus, get a cash bonus for opening a checking and savings account.
So BMO helps your savings grow bigger faster.
Like a triple dose of yeast.
You're hired.
What? No, I wasn't looking for it.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
BMO. Everyone watches women's sports because why wouldn't you?
Because it brings us together.
It's competitive and exciting and new and fresh.
The women who play are so competitive, so tough, fierce, and just leave their emotions all out on the field.
Everybody watches women in sport because we're the best.
Everyone watches women's sports because greatness has no gender.
Because we're a bunch of badass athletes and we love to compete and we're just fun to be around.
Because it's fun and exciting.
Tout le monde regarde le sport féminin parce que les femmes ont eu besoin de briser beaucoup de barrières pour arriver où elles sont aujourd'hui. Donc ça vaut la peine qu'on les regarde et qu'on les encourage.
Everyone watches women's sports because they have good taste. And they should.
Because this is just the beginning.
And at the end of the day, I am proud to kick like a girl, play like a girl, and score like a girl.
First game. First whistle. First goal. First jersey. First autograph. First favorite player. First away game. First big win. First time thinking, that's gonna be me. Firsts help us move forward together. Toyota, founding partner of the first professional women's soccer league in Canada.
Welcome back to the NSL on TSN. Well, a scrappy 2-0 win for the Halifax Tides over the Calgary Wild. First half goals from Julia Bonatti, from Sarah LaMiller. And the Tides did more than enough to stay in this one in the second half, despite being down a player just 2 minutes in when Sinamu was sent off after picking up her second yellow as we look at the stats here. And listen, what no stat will show, though, is the drive, the heart of Halifax to stay in this one, in this match. Kate McKenna, Amy Walsh with you in studio, and we want to dive right in, talk about our Toyota Electric play of the match. Amy, this was Julia Benatti's opener. What'd you like about it?
I loved everything about this. This sort of epitomized the way that Halifax was dictating terms to the visiting Calgary Wild. They were on the front foot. They were creating overloads. They were swarming the ball to regain. But Benatti looked dangerous on set pieces. She looked dangerous finding pockets. And she swings this ball in with some pace, with some menace. Like, there's no doubt about what she's trying to do. She's trying to get it into dangerous areas. And whether or not that was a cross or a shot, it doesn't matter because it was the intent behind it. And they were aggressive, and I think that shot is just a microcosm of what they were on the day.
And Stephen Hart says Benatti worked so hard and has worked so hard after her injury to get back in this. Listen, if you tuned into this match after the 47-minute mark and you missed that red graphic on our scoreboard, you might not have known that Halifax was down a player. What did they do so well to ensure that Calgary couldn't capitalize?
They didn't really change the way that they were looking at the game. There was a slight tactical tweak when they dropped into two banks of four to a 4-4-1, stayed very resolute, very compact, but they remained the protagonists. They remained the aggressors. Much to Calgary's chagrin and probably much to the frustration of coach Sinead McSherry. They showed Calgary Wild did a little bit of urgency towards the end. But I think the way that the Halifax Tides have developed, the way that they're composed in possession, they're making the right kinds of decisions. Coach Stephen Hart talked about being more efficient at both ends of the pitch. I think you saw that today, both in the individuals on the pitch, but also collectively, how they were composed and how they managed this game. So even a player down, they remained in full control of this contest.
I'm glad you mentioned game management because it was optimal from Stephen Hart. But as far as Sinead McSherry and her side, what didn't they do? Why couldn't they get back in this one, being down a player at being up a player, at the 48-minute mark?
I'm not sure. I was struggling to understand that on the call. I think we saw some bright spots in the first half on that right side with the combination, the focal point of Baucom. You had the combination of Storty pulling wide for the width and Maya Jones as that winger drifting inside. And you saw some interesting things happening when we know how Johnson and Jones have paired up before that brace when they got their lone point on the season and Jones getting her double and Johnson playing provider. But Johnson looked heavy-legged today, and she wasn't targeted, but she collected a lot of heavy fouls, and I thought you saw that wear on her. But the urgency wasn't there. The spark wasn't there on the attack. I think you saw them look a little bit more interesting and more threatening with the insertion of their talisman and their captain in Maggie Doherty-Howard, who all of a sudden came to life. That central channel, again, became accessible. But it was the defending of the Halifax Tides that kept them peripheral, kept them pushing out, and then there was that lone chance at the end, that ball off the boot of Sarita Thurton that caused a little bit of trouble for the back line of the Halifax Tides and goalkeeper Foster Inman. But again, they were in full control of this contest.
Well, speaking of Foster Inman, the sign of a good goalkeeper, one of them is their ability to stay in a match even if they're not tested often. And that was the case with Riley Foster Inman. Wasn't tested much, but came alive at the end, and she's standing by with our Brianne Foley.
Riley, you were a brick wall back there, taking some big hits as well. What was it about the resiliency of this team to stay in, even a man down pretty much the entire second half?
Yeah, look, testimony to Calgary for the fight they came out with today. But our back line, midfield and front line, they were so resilient. To go down like that early in the second half is something that you don't really plan for, but the way we handled ourselves is absolutely amazing, from front to back and back to front. Like, that's what resilience looks like. That's what it means to have each other's back, and that's what you saw. It makes my job easy.
All week, Stephen Hart was talking about efficiency on both ends. How do you feel that you guys proved that today?
Yeah, look, I mean, we put away 2, and I think we could have had a couple more, and I think we're going to go back to the drawing board on how we can get more. But in the back line, no goals against is what we're really focusing on, not giving away cheap goals. I mean, myself included, having a top performance is really important for this team.
Tough week. You have a short turnaround, but we'll let you go celebrate now.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Have a good night.
Lots more NFL action coming your way, including another match today at 4 p.m. Eastern. AFC Toronto hosts the league-leading Montreal Roses. That's on the NSL's YouTube page and TSN+. And tomorrow at 5 p.m., this is going to be big, a battle between the Ottawa Rapid and the Vancouver Rise. Vancouver just 3 points behind Ottawa. You can catch that on YouTube and CBC Gem. As for this match, the Tides pick up their third win of the season, vaulting themselves into third place. Amy, first star tonight, would it be Miller, Bonatti, Julianne Valorant's face?
Oh, that's true. That's a good shout. I'm going to go off the board and the solidity of Addie Wickers to hold that defensive structure together.
A dark horse pick from Amy Walsh. Listen, from Amy and all of us here, including everyone on the broadcast team, everyone on the control room, I'm Kate McKenna. We'll see you next time.